Have you ever noticed how the harder you chase something, the more it seems to slip away from you? You push, you strive, you go after your dreams with everything you've got. But what if I told you that the moment you stop chasing is the moment everything you've been working for starts coming to you, effortlessly? It's like a magnet. The more you try to pull, the more it pushes away. But what happens when you just let go? The magnet draws everything toward you without force, pulling what you need naturally. Or think of a plant in a garden, constantly watered, constantly checked, but never left to grow at its own pace. You can water it all day, but it's only when you step back and trust the process that the plant flourishes on its own. That's the power of surrendering to the natural flow. While you're busy chasing, you have a choice. Keep forcing things or trust that what's meant for you will come in its own time. When you stop forcing, that's when the flow begins. The moment you stop struggling, you start attracting everything you desire with ease. So how do you manifest your desires without obsessing over when or how they'll come? Without chasing, without forcing, and without stressing over every little detail. Stay with me, because the last piece will change everything. Let's start with one of the most powerful shifts you can make in your approach to life: detaching from the outcome. It's easy to get caught up in results, whether it's landing a job, reaching a personal goal, or building a relationship. We often think that if we focus hard enough, we can control the outcome. But here's the truth: the more you obsess over results, the more resistance you create. When you're fixated on the end result, you create pressure that limits your ability to take inspired, calm action. True power comes from focusing on the process, your actions and your mindset, not the outcome. When you focus only on results, you disconnect from the present moment. Every action you take should be rooted in the belief that your effort is enough. But when you start obsessing over how and when things will happen, you introduce stress and resistance into the equation. Instead of being present, you're living in anxiety, trying to control something that's beyond your influence. When you detach from the outcome, you shift your focus to what you can control, your actions and your responses. This allows you to move through life with more ease, more clarity, and more confidence. Stoic wisdom backs this up. Epictetus once said, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happens as it should, and you will be happy." Think about that. True happiness comes from accepting life as it is, without needing it to unfold exactly as you want it. It's about trusting that everything is happening in its own time, according to a bigger plan, and that what's meant for you will come naturally when the time is right. When you let go of your attachment to the outcome, you release mental clutter and allow yourself to enjoy the process. Let me share a story. A friend of mine, let's call her Lily, was deeply focused on achieving a specific career milestone. Every day, she worked tirelessly. But no matter how much effort she put in, things weren't moving as fast as she hoped. She was frustrated and exhausted, constantly wondering why things weren't happening faster. One day, a mentor told her, "Focus on doing your best every day and detach from the outcome. Trust that it will happen when it's meant to." Lily took that advice to heart. She stopped obsessing over the when and how and focused on being the best version of herself each day. Over time, opportunities began to align and things fell into place with ease. So how do you detach from the outcome? First, focus on your actions. Give your best effort without getting attached to when the results will show. Second, let go of perfection. Trust that what happens is meant to happen. And finally, stay present. Don't get lost in the future. Trust the process and the timing of life. At the end of the day, detaching from the outcome allows you to embrace the journey, focus on your actions, and let go of the need for control. When you do this, you'll find that the results you desire come naturally and effortlessly. Let's dive into another powerful truth. Your thoughts shape your reality. Every day, we're bombarded with distractions, worries, and external pressures. But the most important thing you can control in life is your mindset. When you master your thoughts, you gain control over how you experience the world. A calm, focused mind has the power to attract solutions effortlessly, while a scattered, reactive mind can keep you trapped in frustration and confusion. A positive, calm mindset doesn't mean ignoring challenges. It means approaching them with clarity and purpose. Life isn't always easy, but how you respond to challenges defines your experience. When your mind is clear, you become more creative, more resourceful, and more open to opportunities. You stop reacting from fear or stress and start responding with calm, collected power. This shift allows you to see solutions where others see obstacles. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." That's powerful. Your happiness isn't dependent on your circumstances. It's dependent on how you interpret them. When you control your thoughts, you control your perception. And when you control your perception, you shape your experience. The quality of your thoughts is the foundation upon which everything else is built. If your mind is filled with negativity, doubt, or worry, it's going to be much harder to manifest success or feel at peace. But if your thoughts are grounded in clarity, optimism, and focus, you'll find yourself moving toward the life you want with ease. Let me share another story. A woman I know, let's call her Rachel, had always struggled with stress. She was constantly racing against the clock, overwhelmed by work, and anxious about the future. One day, she decided to change her approach. Instead of letting stress dictate her actions, she focused on mastering her mindset. She began practicing mindfulness, taking time each day to quiet her mind and reframe her thoughts. Instead of worrying about everything that could go wrong, she focused on what she could control: her actions, her responses, and her attitude. Over time, her stress began to fade. Opportunities appeared where she once saw only roadblocks. She began to see challenges as opportunities to grow, not obstacles to avoid. So how do you master your mindset? First, become aware of your thoughts. Pay attention to what's running through your mind. Are you thinking positively or feeding yourself negativity? Second, reframe your thinking. Instead of saying, "This is too hard," say, "This is a challenge I'm going to overcome." And finally, stay grounded in the present. When you focus on what you can control in the here and now, the future becomes much less overwhelming. At the end of the day, a calm and focused mind is your greatest asset. When you master your thoughts, you master your life. Take control of your mindset, and you'll find that solutions, opportunities, and peace come to you naturally. Your reality is shaped by the quality of your thoughts, so choose them wisely. Now let's talk about something just as powerful: trusting in divine timing. It's easy to get caught up in the rush, especially when you want something badly. You push, you hurry, you try to force things to happen. But rushing leads to mistakes. When we rush, we miss the lessons, the details, and sometimes even the opportunities that would have helped us grow. It's in the stillness, in the waiting, that the most profound changes happen. When you trust the process, you give life the space to unfold at the right time. Everything unfolds when it's supposed to, but we've been conditioned to expect instant results. Fast food, fast information, instant gratification. Yet the most important things, success, wisdom, relationships, growth, can't be rushed. Think of planting a seed. If you dig it up every day to see if it's growing, you stunt its potential. But if you trust the timing of nature and allow it to grow, you witness its beauty when the time is right. Epictetus said, "No great thing is created suddenly." That's the truth. What's truly worth having takes time. patience, persistence, and trust. You don't have to rush or force anything. Just keep doing the right things. Keep showing up. Know that what's meant for you will arrive when you're ready. The universe has a way of working things out when you stop trying to control every detail. Let me tell you about someone. Let's call her Sophie. She was obsessed with achieving success in her career. She worked tirelessly, pushing herself harder and harder. But the more she rushed, the more frustrated she became. Every door seemed to close. Eventually, she decided to stop forcing things. She focused on her growth instead, improving her skills, building her network, and trusting that life would align when it was meant to. And it did. The right opportunities flowed in with ease. So how do you trust in divine timing? First, let go of the need for control. Stop forcing things when they're not ready. Second, focus on your growth. Invest in yourself and trust that the right moments will find you. And finally, be patient. Everything has its time. Rushing only leads to stress and disappointment. Trusting in divine timing is an act of faith. When you let go and allow life to unfold, you create space for the right things to come to you. Don't rush the process. Trust that everything will happen when it's meant to. Now let's explore one last truth. Act with purpose, not desperation. It's easy to get caught in the rush, especially when you feel like time is running out or success is just beyond your reach. In these moments, acting out of desperation can seem like the only option. You push harder, chase more, scramble for results. But desperation repels success. When you act from fear or urgency, you attract more of the same: frustration, confusion, and missed opportunities. True success comes from calm, consistent action, not frantic energy. When you move with clear purpose, success follows naturally. It's not about outpacing everyone. It's about walking your own path, with clarity, confidence, and intention. People can feel the difference. Desperation leaves a mark. Purpose inspires. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. That's it. Know who you want to become, your vision, your values, your purpose. Then take the actions that align with that. Let me share one more story. A man I know, let's call him Jack, was struggling in his career. He pushed hard, chasing every opportunity. But nothing was working. One day, he realized he'd been acting from desperation, not purpose. So he paused. He reconnected with his vision. He started making moves that aligned with who he wanted to become, not just what he wanted to get. The shift was powerful. He began attracting the right people, the right opportunities, and the right results. When you act from purpose, you attract with confidence. You're no longer chasing, you're leading. And success flows to those who move with calm, clear intention. So stop forcing. Let go of the need to control. Trust the timing. Master your mind. Focus on what you can control. And most of all, move with purpose. Because the moment you stop chasing is the moment everything starts coming to you. Effortlessly. One day, he realized something important. He had been acting out of desperation. So focused on getting ahead, he never paused to ask why he was doing it all in the first place. When he finally took a step back, everything shifted. He started acting with purpose. He got clear on what he truly wanted, set goals rooted in his values, and began taking consistent, thoughtful steps. Over time, opportunities began to come his way, and they felt aligned with the man he was becoming, not just with the things he was chasing. So how do you act with purpose instead of desperation? First, get clear on who you want to be. Take a moment to define your values and your vision. Second, trust the process. Focus on taking one step at a time, knowing that each action is bringing you closer to your goal. And finally, move with quiet confidence. Let go of the need to rush and trust that success will come when your actions align with your purpose. Purposeful action is the key to long-term success. When you act with calm, steady intention, you create the space for success to flow to you naturally. Move with purpose, not desperation, and watch how everything starts to align in your favor. Now let's talk about one of the most liberating truths you can embrace: letting go of control. In a world where we're constantly trying to control every outcome, every situation, and even every person, it's easy to fall into a cycle of worry. We obsess over what might go wrong and stress over things that are far beyond our reach. But the truth is, worrying about what you can't control is wasted energy. You can't control other people's actions, the future, or even the weather. What you can control is yourself, your actions, your mindset, and your response to what life throws at you. When you shift your focus inward and work on mastering yourself, you free yourself from the anxiety of trying to control everything else. The more you try to grip the uncontrollable, the more overwhelmed you become. But when you focus on your own growth and peace of mind, life starts to feel lighter. You stop wasting energy on the noise, and you start moving through life with clarity and calm. You respond with intention instead of reacting out of fear. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." True freedom doesn't come from controlling the world. It comes from releasing the need to control it. When you stop obsessing over what you can't change, you make space for what you can influence. You stop living in fear and start living in wisdom. Take Anna, for example. She used to worry constantly about how people perceived her and what would happen in her career. That anxiety froze her. One day, she decided to focus on what she could control: her reactions, her actions, and her mindset. She stopped trying to micromanage everything and started living more intentionally. Slowly, her peace returned and opportunities came naturally. The less she tried to control everything, the more everything seemed to fall into place. To let go of control, start by focusing on what's in your hands: your thoughts, your actions, your responses. Release the need for everything to go according to plan. Trust that what's meant for you will come. And embrace the unknown. Life is unpredictable, and that's okay. Freedom lies in letting go. The more you focus on mastering yourself, the more peaceful and powerful your life becomes. Now imagine making one of the most powerful mindset shifts: embodying the energy of abundance. So often we're caught up in the chase: more money, more success, more recognition. But instead of chasing what you lack, live as if you already have it. When you stop focusing on what's missing and start appreciating what's already within your reach, your entire perspective changes. Living as if you already have what you desire reshapes your reality. You become more confident, more intentional, and more open to opportunities. You stop needing external validation to feel successful, and instead, your inner abundance becomes the source of everything. Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." True wealth isn't about accumulation, it's about contentment. Take James. He was always striving, thinking he'd finally feel complete once he reached a goal or made a certain amount of money. But fulfillment kept slipping further away. Eventually, he stopped chasing. He began to appreciate what he already had: his health, his relationships, his skills. And slowly, more started coming his way. The more he embraced abundance, the more abundance he attracted. To embody the energy of abundance, begin with gratitude. Focus on what you have, not what you lack. Let go of attachment to outcomes. Trust that what's meant for you is already on its way. And most importantly, shift your mindset. Live with the belief that you already are abundant. The moment you do, the world will start to reflect that belief back to you. Lastly, let's talk about the most grounded way to move forward. Take aligned action, and then let go. Many of us fall into the trap of forcing outcomes, thinking that the harder we push or worry, the faster things will happen. But true success doesn't come from pressure. It comes from purpose. Do the work. Take action that aligns with your values. Then release the need for immediate results. The more you try to force things, the more resistance you create. But when you take action with intention and let go of the timing, life starts to move more fluidly. What's meant for you will come, not necessarily when or how you expect it, but in the way that serves your growth. Seneca said, "Effort and patience will achieve more than force and anxiety." The Stoics knew that calm, purposeful effort leads to more lasting success than anxious striving ever could. Grace learned this the hard way. She worked tirelessly trying to grow her business, chasing every lead and stressing about every result. But none of it brought her peace or progress. A mentor finally told her, "Take the right actions, then let go. Trust that the right things will come in their own time." She listened, slowed down, and stayed consistent. And before long, the results followed, naturally without force. So how do you practice this? Focus on what's in your control. Take actions that reflect your values and your vision. Practice patience. Understand that meaningful results take time. And finally, let go of the need to control everything. Trust that what's meant for you is already in motion. When you stop chasing and start trusting, things begin to unfold with ease. Aligned action, followed by surrender, is one of the most powerful combinations for success.